morning. Welcome to IH 206. Today we are talking about the climate change of Fiji. Fiji has very special geographic environment, so it's facing many special problems with climate. And next, let's watch a video about it.
What is climate change? Who is to blame, industries or us? Studies show that humans have a large impact on global warming. Global average temperatures have climbed 0.8 degrees Celsius since 1880, according to NASA. With Australia's population reaching 23 million in 2013, it's no surprise the demand for industries are booming. Industrialisation, deforestation and pollution have greatly increased atmospheric concentrations of all greenhouse gases. Humans are pouring carbon dioxide into the atmosphere much faster than plants and oceans can absorb it.
Also because coal and other non-renewable energy resources are massive contributors to climate change.
Why should we be using renewable energy? What will happen if we don't? Today, the effects of global warming can already be seen with the rapid decrease in polar bear numbers, coral bleaching, ice thinning, rising seas and extreme weather.
It's something really important, particularly for young people, because we are the ones that are going to face the consequences. It's our generation that is going to be dealing with these issues.
The 2007 IPCC report predicts that sea levels could rise 10 to 23 inches by 2100. Experts say that it is very likely that hot extremes, heat waves and heavy rains will continue to become more frequent and that temperatures and sea levels will continue to rise. Solar panels and electronic cars all reduce greenhouse gases.
Let's first talk about vulnerabilities and opportunities of Fiji. After watching the video, do you guys have any ideas?
We already done some research for vulnerabilities and opportunities.
Yes, please.
Okay, the first vulnerability is the sea level rise. Because Fiji is an island country, so sea level rise is a potential dangerous for Fiji. Sea level rise may lead to increase in coastal erosion and coastal inundation, increased exposure of beaches to wave action. Also, sea level rise will join the houses of people who live in the coast.
There's also some opportunities from the sea level rise. Because of the sea level rise promote the development and utilization of new energy, such as sea power. Fiji's main income is tourist industry, and Fiji's traffic is very developed. New energy not only save costs, it also reduce environmental pollution.
The next one is increasing in the frequency or intensity of tropical cyclones. This vulnerability may cause a great incidence of coastal inundation and erosion events. And these processes may be accelerated by reduced reef protection. And also coastal inundation and erosion events have do harm to Fiji's economic development.
The opportunity for the increasing in frequency of intensive of tropical cyclones is there has been an increase in energy of storm. Because of the high wind speed, tropical cyclones can produce more wind power, so people can reduce burning fossil fuel.
Next one is raising of average temperature. Raising of average temperature cause higher rates of disease. And some disease likely to be increased by warmer temperatures. This disease can cause more and more people will be sick to do jobs for productivity. And this can reduce economic activities of Fiji.
There's also some opportunities from the higher rate of disease. Higher rate of disease will cause more disease, which will increase fear of sickness, and that will promote people to develop more new technologies to defensive themselves from disease.
The next one is raising of sea level temperature. Increased sea surface temperature may lead to increase in coral bleaching, and together with a lag in coral growth, may lead to reduction in sediment production, which is necessary for maintaining shoreline stability. And this raising of sea level temperature also can kill some fish, so this can impact the fish, their economy and the other things.
The opportunity of the increasing in coral bleaching is coral bleaching will not only have the significant on the biological, also cause the economic get considerable reduction. So the government would pay more attention on environment protections.
The last one is extreme weathers. Climate change can cause some extreme weathers. For example, the flooding and the storm. Because the Fiji is an island country, so little extreme weathers can cause some big influence for Fiji. For example, the fishermen in the storm weathers, fishermen can count to go out of the sea and catch the fish, so they have lost their main income.
The opportunity of the extreme weather is extreme weather will lead a rising sea level around the coastal line. So it may lead Fiji to have more deep water port, which could help Fiji to have more transportations.
I'm going to take an introduction of Fiji's development of fossil fuel use and production, also include the deforestation. The economy of Fiji is self-sufficiency with good agriculture and sugar industry based on forests, minerals, and fishery resources. Before the Industrial Revolution and the period of global imperialism, after that, economic liberalization has created a steady growth of the imperial industry and prosperity urbanization. And expansion in the service sector also contributed to GDP growth. Also, sugar exports promote the rapid growth of Fiji's economy. Tourism also plays an important role in recent years. Then I want to talk about the contribution to climate change of Fiji. Fiji is now an industrialized country because of its special geographical environment, and it just stopped being colonized in 1970. After that, although Fiji was trying to raise its economy by sugar industry, it has small emission compared to the world. Fiji is always a small country with small population and multi-way of transportation. Therefore, car driving in Fiji has little effect of the total emissions. Data shows that the CO2 emission from fossil fuel in Fiji increased about 150 to 500,000 metric tons since 1970 until now. However, the United States have over 1 million tons carbon emission and 2.6 million tons in China. Compared to this large industrial country, Fiji has barely effect to the world fossil fuel emissions. Unlike other countries, deforestation problem in Fiji is not a severe problem. Even the forest coverage rate of Fiji has been increased and remained same rate in recent years. As we can see the graph, between 2000 and 2005, the rate of forest change decreased by 100% to 0%. The Fiji National REDD program has identified 3 main drivers of deforestation in Fiji. The first one is agricultural development. The second one is infrastructure development. And the third one is the establishment of settlements. but through the Fiji governmental manage and control, its reforestation rate in Fiji reduced CO2 and helped slow the climate change. For this part, I want to talk about the dominant lifestyle in Fiji. According to research, over 90% of Fijians' population in both rural and urban areas can be considered coastal dwellers, where the vast majority of services, infrastructure, agricultural production, and social centers are located. That means most of them live on the coastal region of Fiji. Then I want to talk about the carbon footprint characteristics. The first one is the merchant. The characteristic of them is an industrial manufacturer because they produce the product in the factory and emit a lot of industrial pollutions. The second footprint characteristic of Fiji is the rich man. Because of their excessive consumption, they purchased large displacement vehicles and generate a lot of life waste and so on. On the Fiji, farmers and fishermen is a large part of population. For the farmers, they always use the agriculture equipment, and for the fishermen, they use the fish boat. All of these will cost a lot of oil and increase carbon emission. Finally, I want to say, although Fiji is not a main country that's leading cause of climate change, but climate change will be seriously affected this country. Due to rising sea level caused by climate change and temperature increase, that would seriously affect tourism industry in Fiji and agriculture. Even worse, it may make the whole Fiji disappear because of flood.
Anyone wants to introduce about UNFCCC and Kyoto Protocol? Please raise your hand.
Fiji ratified the UNFCCC in February 1993 and is obligated to submit its national communication as per requirement of UNFCCC. One of the Fiji's obligations to the UNFCCC is completion of an inventory of greenhouse gas sources and sink. Fiji signed the ratified Kyoto Protocol in 17 September 1998 and devoted to push for continuation of Kyoto Protocol. All signatories are required to the UNFCCC communicate to the Conference of the Parties National Greenhouse Gas Inventory and develop national plans to mitigate climate change impact and promote measures to facilitate adequate adaptation to climate change within 3 years of the convention coming into force. Because of limited national capacity and financial constraints, Fiji has not been able to meet this requirement until now. Climate change will cause huge damage to Fiji Island. Sea level will rise. Farmland will be decreased. So people will cost more on import foods, and the worst is the island will be submerged in the future. In order to protect Fiji's island, the Fiji's government published forest policy, the National Forest Inventory, The formalization of the Fiji Forest Policy Statement and the National Forest Program provides the framework for the sustainable management of Fiji's forest resource. These tools represent a paradigm shift in the management focus away from timber production toward conservation and sustainable management, with emphasis on sustainable forest management, increase the landowner aspiration, expansion in natural reserves, afforestation, climate change adaptation, and globalization. There is more awareness on social functions provided by forests to improve water source quality, improve agricultural land, and reduce vulnerability to natural disaster, especially flood mitigation. The marine resources is a problem also. The marine area of Fiji contains a rich biological diversity which supports food security and economic development. Over the past decade, the impact of increasing human activities and climate change influenced by urbanization, globalization, and the market system has been increased pressure placed on these resources. And this has resulted depleted fish stocks, loss of habitat and biodiversity, degradation of coastal zones and marine species including mangrove systems and coral reefs. For sustainable development of fisheries and marine resources, the following policies are being published. Enacting Sustainable Development Bill provision relating to fishery resources, promoting production and export the value-add fishery product, providing appropriate institutional and physical infrastructure to support development in the sector, and increasing community participation through ownership in fish processing companies. I know the UNFCCC is an international agreement on the control and management of greenhouse gases, but I have no idea about Kyoto Protocol.
Does anyone know about Kyoto Protocol? Okay, let me introduce about it. The Kyoto Protocol sets binding emission reduction targets for 36 industrialized countries and European Union. Overall, these targets add up to an average 5% emission reduction compared to 1990 level over the 5-year period. From 2008 to 2012, the first commitment period. The Kyoto Protocol was structured on the principles of convention. You guys all have some good points of Fiji's climate change. Now, do you have any recommendations to protect the environment, or did Fiji offer any policies to protect the environment?
I got a recommendation to share with you guys.
We all know that Fiji is the first country in the world to ratify Paris Agreement. And the Paris Agreement is working to halt the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 above pre-industrial levels. Also, Paris Agreement working to increase the ability to adapt to the adverse impacts of climate change and foster climate resilience and low greenhouse gas emission development in a manner that does not threaten food production. Based on Paris Agreement, I recommend Fiji to control and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by scientists to create new energy and make use of renewable sources. Residents and visitors reduce using cars and more using the bicycles and on foot. Also, they should plant more trees to create a better environment. Then, government should arrange factories to move far away from communities and reduce amount of the factories. Based on this series of actions, the stress of climate change of Fiji government can get released, and many resources will be saved for further using by residents and the whole Fiji. Fiji had planned and tried to produce 100% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2030 since a couple years ago, even though it will fail in the future due to lack of technology. But it is still a very good idea to try to produce electricity from renewable resources as much as possible, because it will promote Fiji's scientific development and save energy for the whole Fiji. In addition, Fiji government should protecting coastal resources by promoting productions, export of value-added fisheries products, and enact sustainable development via provision relating to fisheries resources. It will help fisheries to maintain a living. Exporting will promote Fiji's economic development. Even though Fiji is facing very difficult challenges by climate change, such as sea level rising and temperature rising, there are still many ways to help Fiji to ease the situation. By the way, relocated citizens and build houses, farms in new community can help Fiji to keep safe of the climate change, and the citizens, especially for the citizens and the weak women, especially the pregnant women from sea level rising. All I said is the most simple and effective ways I can think.
We have some great points already, and I believe that you have some deeper understanding of today's topic. And thank you for your participation. Have a good day.